Welcome back. Up to this point, we learned two Docker CLI commands, that is command line interface. They were pretty simple, right? We had Docker build, and we gave it a tag to call our container something, and then we did Docker run, and we ran our container. And because we used the it-it parameter, we're able to go inside of that container and do what we want with it. For example, if we had our project files from SmartBrain API, I could have just done npm start there if I had all those files there. So again, Docker build is used to build an image from the Docker file that we created. And then Docker run, we can, as the name suggests, run the container. And again, each time a container is run, Docker assigns a new image hash, as we saw. And we can confirm that we're actually running whatever image we've used. We want to use something like node version or any of the commands that you might have. You can install Ubuntu, for example, and you can run some Ubuntu commands like apt list or apt-get to install things to make sure that your container actually is working as it's supposed to be. Now, here's the thing. With our container, the way we have it, we can't really do much, can we? We just have our node version and we can go into it and run commands from it, but that's it. It's pretty minimal right now. But like I said, we can extend this and actually have our entire server running within this container. And as you saw, because we're setting the environment here, the node version, we just give this container to anybody. And anybody that has this Docker file will always make sure that the server runs the exact same way because everybody's using the same Docker image. Now, if we go back to our terminal, if we ran our command every time, well, we might not want to actually go into the container. It'd be nice to be able to run it in the background. And the way we do this is we just give it another parameter, which is -d. And here we have, there you go, our container running in the background, but we didn't go inside of it. Ooh, make sure we give that back. Luckily, we didn't save it. Now we can run another command called docker ps. And if we do that, look at that. Let me make this a little bit bigger. We can see all the containers that are currently running. See our container ID, our image names, see when it was created, the status, and also the commands that it's running. Very, very cool. And you can have multiple containers here, and you can just check them out with docker ps. All right, but now we have a problem. We have a container running in the background. How do we stop this, or how can we go into it? Luckily, once again, we have another Docker command that we can use, which is docker exec. And by using the container ID or hash that we see over here, we can reference this Docker container because that's how Docker can distinguish different containers. And by the way, the alignments are a little bit off, but you see that this is container ID. And now in here, I just do, once again, the it command. So think of it as getting us to go into the container, and then finally we give it the hash, which we copied, and then finally say that we want to access the bash. There you go. We're back into the container. And these commands, I know they're hard to remember. You don't need to really remember them. You can always find them online, or you can rewatch this video whenever you need to use them. Now, to stop this container now, as you can imagine, there's another command, and it's pretty self-explanatory. All we need to do is say stop. So let's exit out of this first. I'm going to just exit. I'm going to say docker ps. We see that we have the container. Now all I need to do is say docker stop and give it the hash of the container ID. All right, it looks like it worked. If I do docker ps, we have nothing running now. Congratulations, you just learned most of the tools you need to create containers and run containers and stop them. You can create as many containers as you want, well, as much as your host machine allows you to do. And now you've just become a container master. Well, at least starting to. We have a few more things to cover in the next video. I'll see you in that one. Bye-bye.